So today I've got my boy Tommy with me here. He's borrowed Curtis's tools and we're going to be having a bash at magnetic plaster. Consistency of this stuff. Here we go, guys. Now, we've not done this before, but I think that looks about there to me. I don't want to go too stiff. Say we're about there. So we've just got our first coat of magnetic plaster mixed up. Now, I've never used this product before. I've just mixed it up as like I would skim, so multi-finish. So far it seems very similar to multi, obviously. The big difference being that it's black and not brown. But in terms of the consistency of it, it's almost, I'd say, identical to multi-finish or board finish. So we'll get a bit on and we'll see. Again, I've never used this product before. I've prepped this wall with just a PVA mix last night, which is now dry. And we've taped everything up, we've masked everything. Let's get it on the wall anyway. So my first impressions of that is spreading wise, it's almost identical to any other skim that you've probably used. Exactly the same consistency, and it seems to spread okay. So that's the first impressions, but we'll get this on. I'll aim for about 3mm, which is advised, and we'll see how it picks up. Yeah, first impressions, basically a black multi-finish is how I would describe it, but it's not started picking up yet. So I don't want to get ahead of myself and make out like this is easy when it might not be. And I know a few of you have had some nightmares with this stuff. So I won't count my chickens just yet. Right, this has been about 15 minutes. It's quite warm in here because it's a small room and we've had the heating on last night. And even though it's been turned off, it's still pumping a bit in here. And I can just start to feel it slightly pick up, just a little bit. We're a bit behind because Tommy was having a little play on that side. So we're going to finish chucking this first coat on, and when it starts to firm up, I'll catch up with you and we'll show you how it's behaving. Alright guys, this is the first coat on. It's been on maybe 15-20 minutes, something like that. Again, it's quite warm in here, and I have noticed it just starting to pick up. So very similar to any multi or board finish that you've probably used, is my first initial impression. The way that it mixes up the consistency of it, and also the way that it spreads, I would say pretty much similar to multi, apart from it's black, obviously. Now, is it going to close in like multi does? Is it going to flatten off like multi does? Well, we'll see now. So again, I'd say yes. Now, I have gone on to a silk paint, guys, and that's had a coat of PVA last night. I don't know whether that's helping me or whether that means that it's hanging around. If this was normal skim, this would be hanging about, as you know, going over silk. But it doesn't seem to be particularly wet. I'd say it's about bang on. Yeah, first impressions of this gear, it's nice gear. If you're used to skimming like us, you get this on no problems. Again, I don't know what it would be like over a surface that's more high suction, but time will tell. Quickly show you, if I can, how thick I did this first coat. You can see here they've advised 3mm. To be fair, I normally go on pretty heavy anyway on my first coat of skim, whatever skim it is. I normally go that anyway, 2-3mm. So I've not done anything out of the ordinary. I've got the second coat just chucked on, so I'm on the first flatten off. I'm hoping this camera picks it up well enough for you to get an idea of this gear. So again, I would say at this stage, chucking on and first flatten, very, very similar to any skim that you've using before. Again, in terms of how it goes on and how it travels up, I did notice as the first coat was started to firm up, and I was giving it that second little run over with the trowel just before you lay on your second coat, little bit of dragging in places, just where it is starting to dry in patches. I don't know whether that's standard for this gear or whether I'd left it a little late rambling on the live video earlier or what, but it didn't give me too much aggro, but just something I'd noticed, a little bit of dragging, nothing bad, nothing that's going to mess you up, but just thought I'd mention that. I think anyone that's used to skimming, I've no problems getting this stuff on and getting the first flatten off, but again, it is early days and I want to see what happens a bit later on in the set. But the crucial parts of the set, we'll be trying to close in and perfect it. Seems to be going well. I like the product. First impressions of it anyway. One difference that I've noticed immediately, like I mentioned before, laying on, mixing up laying on and first flatten, pretty much the same I found with multi or board. The key difference for me is on that second trowel up. So I found myself adding water very early on. I'm the sort of spread that I just use minimal water. I tend to just either wet my trowel or just minimal amount around the border of the wall and bring it in, unless it's high suction or there's a problem. I don't tend to drench the wall. I found on this magnetic stuff I've had to do that for whatever reason. I don't know whether it's because it's hot in here or whatever it was, but I found myself splashing the wall a lot more than I normally would. Coming towards the end of this set, I think now. The top half is, I would say it's ready for maybe a hard trowel a bit later. I don't want to keep messing around with it too much in case I bring the moisture back through, but you can see there it's looking pretty good. It's looking okay. I've wet this, so it's troweling up fine, but in the areas where I haven't wet it, Now I'll try and show you that a bit lower down the wall. It's tearing a little bit. Now I don't know whether that's standard for this gear or whether it's my lack of experience using the product, but I've worked my fair share of different finished products over the years. Some lime that we tried out in the first lockdown. I had the Carlite finish as well last year. Carlite finish and Carlite Ultra, absolutely sterling gear if you can get hold of it. From Ireland, I think it is. That's where we got it from. Yeah, so I've had a fair share of experiences with different type products and skim, which has probably helped me with this really. So there we have it, guys. I think we're about done. I'm just giving it one last polish up now. You can hear it's completely set and dry. I'm just giving it a dry one now with a Marshall towel, just to make sure everything's closed in properly and there's no blisters or anything. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with this stuff. As I say, the only difference really was giving it a little bit more water than what I normally would. But apart from that, in terms of things like setting times and all the rest of it, yeah, it's typical skim really. So I'll be definitely using this again. I don't know where or when because of the price of it, but now that I've tried it out, I'm confident that we could potentially offer this as part of our services if people want it. Simple job, to be fair. We might consider leaving this as bare plaster. See how it dries out. I think it dries like a slate grey. If it dries out pretty enough, then we'll just leave it as a feature wall for him. Now, another question you're all asking yourselves is it magnetic? So I've just pinched these off the fridge. And there you have it. And it's not even dry yet. So yeah, it does work. And they seem to be on pretty good. Thistle magnetic plaster, decent gear. Thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you next time.